I'm Augustus. I'm traveling in the United States to listen to everyday Americans and to tell them about my candidacy for President of the United States in 2028. I'm here in Denver, Colorado, where the Front Range meets the Great Plains and the mile-high city sits under the watchful peaks of the Rocky Mountains. This is the 24th capital of my 50+1 Capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates it could be considered unnecessary and maybe even weird. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days. Not to give motivational speeches, but to listen. I'm here to hear about the skyrocketing rent and home prices that are driving people out of the Front Range, the water right disputes over the Colorado River that keep ranchers up at night, and the vanishing middle class that is turning your neighbors into a generation of workers struggling to keep up with a booming aerospace and tech economy. Colorado is known as the Centennial State because you joined the Union 100 years after our nation was born. That name is a tribute to a century of independence and grit. Yet it feels as if that 100 years legacy is being sold off to the highest bidder while the families who have lived here for generations are left behind. It is Coloradans who are still doing the farming, the mining, and the building. I'm standing at the Colorado State Capitol. This building is a masterpiece of neoclassical architecture, crowned with a dome of real 24-karat gold, constructed with native Gunnison granite and the world's entire supply of Beulah red marble. Look at this building. It was designed to represent more than just power, it represents Coloradans. It's a bridge between the ancient legacy of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and the bold ambition of the pioneers who saw gold in the dust of these plains. It stands as the centerpiece for a state that doesn't just wait for the future, you chase it down. It's easy to talk about Colorado's beauty, but I'm more interested in Colorado's people. If you want to represent Colorado, you have to speak for the ranchers out on the eastern plains and the ski lift operators who keep the resorts running during a blizzard. The wind and the snow are tough, but the people here are tougher. There's a straight line from the folks leading treks in the Rockies to the ones who built this city from the ground up. It's one shared soul, a soul that knows how to stand its ground and keep moving forward no matter what. To be the leader of the whole country, you have to actually know the whole country. You have to gape at the Garden of the Gods, admire the views along the Pacific Coast Highway, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. You cannot lead a people you do not know, and you cannot know the people from a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in D.C. Having lived in 7 states so far and visited all 50 states at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning. That's why I am visiting each state again and why I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my time in office. Now, you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents and Congresses come and go. I've seen industries rise and fall. And I've watched as the people who keep this nation functioning, the nurses at UC Health, the crews maintaining I-25, and the staff at your local King Supers, are treated like cattle or sheep, not human beings. You may be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. To me, though, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. Think about the people who meet in this capital or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your utility bills manageable or your fuel prices affordable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists, they shouldn't represent their party, and they definitely should not represent the ultra-rich. Your representatives, including the President of the United States, should represent you, period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich and ultra-rich who treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of opportunity and freedom, not a land where out-of-state investors push families out of the towns they've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a grocery bill and a mortgage payment. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the 2 major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. The motto of Colorado is Nil sine numine, which means nothing without providence. It's a phrase that speaks to the enduring nature of this place and its hard-working people. Sadly, it feels like the only thing enduring is the rich and ultra-rich profiting off the hard work of Coloradans. It's time to ensure that the prosperity of this state reaches the people working 2 jobs just to put food on the table and a roof over their heads. I'm headed to Cheyenne, Wyoming next. I have many capitals and many miles ahead of me. If you see me in your state, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you on the steps where you live. And that's a darn fine question. Who is this guy? The motto of Colorado, sometimes the teleprompter doesn't move when it should. I'm filming that way. I just looked for the Rocky Mountains and I didn't see them anywhere, but okay. Go. Crazy motorcycle people. 28. Squint, squint. Who saw gold in them thar hills. Say that 16 times fast. To be leader.